Most people think the most exciting part of a campervan build is when you fit the furniture or start adding all the gadgets. What we're doing this week, this is where the real magic happens. This right here is going to lay the foundations to build you a good strong van, a silent van and a warm van. This week we're laying the flooring and we're fitting the pop top roof and all the windows. This is episode 8 of Works in Progress here at Wildworx. Hope you enjoy.
Right guys, we're back on this medium wheelbase MAN TGE. You saw in a previous video that we had the pop-top base. That was a test fit. We're actually going to be fitting that today. So Cam's just doing a bit of the prep work for it. He's put some rubbing alcohol on it. Stu's currently doing a bit of prep work for this nose cone that's going to get added as well. We've got quite a bit of Alcantara to be getting on with this week, so you'll see all that going in as well. We've got the floor going in and then some foundations for cabling as well. So there's a lot going on in this week's video, and stay tuned.
So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this.
So we have the lower half of the clamshell installed now. Strapped down, it's been glued on with a polyurethane adhesive. We just strap it down with the ratchet straps just to keep it in position. Because it's GRP, it's not exactly flat and doesn't exactly contour perfectly to the van. So we just strap it down, leave it overnight, and then tomorrow we'll finish off around the edge with another bead of sealant just to make sure nothing can seep in underneath. And then we'll stick the upper half of the clam on. Once that's bolted in, we then put the tent in, and that's it, it's done.
So if you've got a keen eye, you might have noticed in one of last week's videos that we did a little bit of filming in this workshop here. That's because this is the new unit that we've taken on. So it's right next door to our existing unit. You might have also noticed in some of our videos that our shelves have been getting busier and busier and just looking like a big cluttered mess recently. It's just because we're running out of space. So we've decided to keep that area for storage and for our e-commerce. We're also going to keep our wood workshop next door, and it means that this area won't be dusty at all. And we're going to keep this area purely for conversion van builds, just going to be for assembly. We're going to get a new 2-poster ramp and put it in here. We're going to bring our 4-poster ramp from next door and put it next to it so we can get both vans up on the ramp at the same time. We should be able to build 2 to 3 vans in here at the one time, and next door, purely for all the parts, giving us much more room to manoeuvre around about here. We're really excited about this, and we're going to be moving in the next couple of weeks. You might notice that it's full of junk just now. This is all stuff from the previous occupier. They've yet to move it away. They're going to be doing slowly over the next coming months. Meanwhile, we're going to get our stuff in and start getting it operational.
This morning, I'm laying the LVT flooring in this van. What we're using here are normal household LVT tiles. We use the normal contact spray that we use for sticking all the carpeting. Most of the floor gets covered up with furniture anyway. I like to get the floor down before we stick the furniture in. Obviously, starting with the very first tile, you're going to make sure that you got your angles right. You also have to make sure that your tiles are all exactly the same size. This tile is normally twice this long. We've cut the tile in half. When you're doing, especially with the herringbone pattern, you're going to make sure that the very first tile is at exactly the right angle. Because if you get it very slightly off, by the time you get to the end of the van, you end up with huge gaps, and it's really difficult to fix. You'd have to lift every single tile. When we start with the first one, I like to go off the edge of the door. I use a builder's square, get the very first tile in 45 degrees to the door. I try and plan it so that when we get cuts, we don't end up with tiny little pieces. So we'll have bigger pieces rather than tiny little corners. We may end up with a few on that side, but that's mostly underneath the shower and the other furniture. I like to start in the middle, cut the walkway, which will be the walkway in half, and then split it so that it kind of leads you down and out the door. Because if it's off to the side, it might look a bit iffy. And also when I spray the glue, I just lay some of the tiles upside down, top of the floor. I don't want to get glue on. The glue does wipe off quite easily. If you're using a solvent, we just use white spirits to clean the glue afterwards. So any overspray and stuff, but obviously to minimize the overspray, I just put tiles upside down. I'm gonna get glue on the back anyway. It's also worth making sure that when you put them down, that you don't have any dirt in between. Be quite surprised how the smallest little bit of dirt in the gap will cause the tiles to drift. So by the time you get to the end, you end up with a lot bigger gap. It kind of amplifies the error as you move down. On other vans, we've used smaller tiles because you can buy these ready cut as smaller tiles. I'll say ready cut, they're just made smaller. I think specifically for a herringbone type floor. We have used those before as well. Obviously just depends on what you like. If you like a smaller tile, we're just using the big ones in this because this is what the customer has said he wants or what he likes. When you're doing a herringbone pattern, it's quite easy to lay the tile in the wrong orientation. So you just have to remember as you're going down that you don't end up putting two next to each other like that, and then you end up with a weird pattern. So you've got to remember that you've got to stagger them. It happens quite often. You're just about to stick it down, and then you notice that you're sticking it down in the wrong place. Also handy to remember while you're tiling, if you've got multiple boxes of tiles, to mix them up. Open two boxes, shuffle the tiles in the box. You can potentially avoid having the same tiles next to each other, because that's the worst when you're done and you find that you've got two tiles that are exactly the same next to each other. It just kind of messes up the whole feel of the whole thing. So once I'm finished with this floor, Dusty will be back in here to measure up for his furniture, and you'll be able to get a good look of how it looks when it's done.
Oh yeah, you got a bit of masking tape.
Oh yeah, who did that?
And where down we go, oh, 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 where down we go, oh, 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 so where down we go, oh, 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 way down we go.
So we're up here at our mechanics where we brought this car. This is actually a pet project of mine. It's a 1966 Ford Cortina Deluxe, and it's the estate model. So they're super rare. You do see them kicking about, but not very often. This is a car that I bought when I was in my early 20s, I think. Drove it up from London back up to Glasgow, and I ran it as my car for a few years, and she ran great before I put her in the garage and didn't have time to run it. We then brought it down to England when we started the business up here. It sat in storage for 5 years without getting the engine turned. It's needing some work. It's not getting a spark just now. It's in here to get it up and running before we can then drive it to the body shop where it's going to get a full restoration. Then we're going to bring it in-house and do all the interior and get it back up to its former glory. It was a lovely car to look at before we stripped it down and started doing all the welding, but it had started to show some signs of bubbling under the paint, which is never good. So we've stripped out all the filler, in which there was lots. We've not had to replace any body panels as yet. We've just done quite a lot of welding. The roof was separating down the gutters here. We had holes in the floor. We've got some chassis work to do, and then it just needs a lot of tweaking, and then the whole interior needs refitting. So if it is something you're interested in, let us know and we'll do more content on it. Or if it's something, if you just want us to stick to the camper vans, let us know and we'll stick to that.
Now that the floor's done, I'm prepping the route for the cables. Every wire that we put in, I put into a trunking just to protect it against scuffing and stuff. It also helps keep it neater so you don't have loads of cables running everywhere. Dusty's busy with the ceiling, so I need to get this all route planned before the ceiling goes in. It just makes life a lot easier. If you do it before, you can't access anything. So this will be running over there above this. I zip tie it in every now and then. It'll come out here somewhere. It'll run down this pillar on the inside because there's a gap up at the top. I don't like to drill holes if I don't need to drill holes. I use cavities that exist. Sometimes they're blocked off. Most often you will find a route like through there there's a big gap. And then once that's in, I'll know more or less how long my cable needs to be. I've got a whole trolley full of different colors that I use. I then decide which ones I'm gonna have. We don't really have a schematic for every van. Every van is slightly different. I find it's just easier to run the cable as I need them. Once they're all in, obviously, then I don't cut them until I'm ready to terminate, because again, you don't want to waste cable. You don't want to be cutting little pieces off. I just keep it on the roll, and when I'm ready to cut, I cut it once.
That's the motto. Throw back with no chaser, with no trouble. Popping that Moet, baby, let's make some bubbles. Puffing on that gelato. Wanna be seeing double. Gotta do what you gotta believe it. We ain't got no plans to leave it. Tell all of your friends to be here. We ain't gonna sleep all weekend. Oh, you know, that's the motto. Drop a few bills and pop a few champagne bottles. Throwing that money like you just won the lotto. We've been up all damn summer, making that bread and butter. Tell me, did I just stutter? That's the motto. Drop a few bills and
A little bit of an update for you on this MAN TGE, the 4x4 medium wheelbase. We've fitted a pop-top ATEC roof. This one's for a medium wheelbase. We have got a rigid frame solar panel on the top, it's a 300 watt. We are going to be fitting a Starlink to this as well. So we are currently in the process of moving a lot of the production side of the Wildworx onto this new unit. So there's a lot of fundamentals that have been put in there now. So there's like the benches, tools, stuff that we need to just get the build from one stage to the next. So that's all going on at the minute. We've got things moving all the time. Organised chaos is the best word for it. There's quite a lot of stuff that we need to be getting on with, and I need to be jumping on that, so I'll see you in a bit.
So that's the end of day one, and this is how far we've got so far. It's a complete mess, as it should be. We're trying to leave as much mess as we can next door and just move in here, so this is purely assembly. This big pile of mess here is just waiting to get sorted out. We've got our carpeting bay over by the wall there. We have set up our tool station there, but I think we're actually going to build workbenches across there and set up our tool stations at the back across that wall. We've got two vans in here, which gives us a lot more comfortable room to work around rather than nose to tail the way we're working in there. The ramp we've got next door isn't big enough for these longer vans. It will fit a medium wheelbase, but not the long wheelbase. So we're waiting on a two-poster being arrived, which will kind of finish this area off, and hopefully we can get some garage floor down at some point. We're going to be doing it in increments because we need the guys to get back to work ASAP because we've got customers waiting on their vans. Pleased with how things are going, and it's really exciting to have a wee bit more breathing space. So that about wraps us up this week for episode 8 and Works in Progress at Wildworx. Keep on following and subscribing us if you want to see more, continue to see how these builds progress. Thanks for watching. Like, comment and subscribe.